least I'm still trying to wake up. I've got my coffee in here. I've drank most of it, but I might have to make myself another coffee. I have a very busy morning here. I'm on kitchen duty this morning, actually. I have my list here. I'll show you. I have a list of things that I have to do in the kitchen this morning. At least that's my goal, is to get all of my kitchen work done this morning, and that way things can be lighter for me this afternoon. But I made out a list last night of things that I have to do, here in the kitchen this morning. So my friends, if you want to join me, that would be great. I could definitely use the company. My first project for this morning is to do something special with these sweet potatoes. So I'm going to make a sweet potato casserole this morning. I have all the ingredients here. I've got my 2 bowls, a cup of milk. My pecans are here as well, all measured and ready to go. So I'm going to work on this and get these taken care of. I'll feel a lot better once they're taken care of. I'm just starting to peel these sweet potatoes, and then once they're all peeled and cut into smaller pieces, I'm going to cook them on the stove. There's my pot on the stove, and inside this pot I have my sweet potatoes already starting to cook. So while that's cooking, I'm going to start on my next project. I've been finding lately that when I go into the stores, I've been noticing that the price of food is starting to rise and rise and rise, which causes me to take very close looks at my flyers to see the different types of food that's on sale. Now at Giant Tiger, I went to Giant Tiger a few days ago, and they had these peppers on sale, and normally I only get one of these. But with the way things are going, the way that the food prices are rising, I didn't just pick up one, I picked up 2. So what I want to do with my peppers today is get them all washed up and cut them up and put them into freezer bags. So that's my next project right now. So the sweet potatoes cooked really well, and I added them to this bowl along with some other ingredients. And I have my masher here, so I've been mashing them. And in my second bowl, I've been adding like the pecans. I had to get them chopped, and some other ingredients, because this goes on the top of the sweet potato casserole. So I'm going to pour everything into this vintage casserole dish, starting with the cooked sweet potatoes, and then the crumble goes on the top. I'm just mashing this just a little bit more. This has got the eggs and the milk and the vanilla and some of those other wet ingredients. The white sugar as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. Take a look at that. It doesn't have to be completely smooth. And then I'm just going to pour in my vintage casserole dish. And in it goes. It's a very easy casserole to make. And this is what it looks like. Ta-da! And next I will put the crumble with the pecans and stuff. That goes on the top of this. Here's what this looks like. The top part. I'm going to try to spread that out a little bit more so it's a little more even. But I'm going to put this into the oven at 400 degrees. There it is in the oven. So I'm going to let that cook for just a little while. And now on to my next project. While the casserole is in the oven, I want to peel some of these potatoes here. I want them for supper tonight, and I figured since I'm doing kitchen work now, I might as well do this for prep work for our supper tonight. And I want to make some mashed potatoes, so I'm going to peel a bunch of those red potatoes and just get them ready and just put them in a bowl of water and put them in the fridge so I can cook them later. But it's just to make things a little bit easier for later. Here they are. They're all done. So I'll put these in the fridge and I'll cook them up for around supper time tonight. So it's good to have another task done for the day. Yesterday I used my slow cooker and I cooked a beautiful roast. And of course we had some of that for our supper. But there was plenty left over. So I put them in this bowl. I put the roast in this bowl. But my task for right now is to take this roast out, and some of it, like last night, I cut into little smaller pieces, but I have this big one here and I'm just going to take this out and cut it and chop it into smaller pieces because we're going to be having this for our supper tonight too. So again, I'm going to get this prep work done to make the load a lot lighter tonight at 5 p.m. when we have supper. I want to take this big piece out here, and don't worry, my hands are nice and clean. I like to keep my hands clean. But I want to get some of this roast off the bone here, just to make it easier for tonight. So away we go. Casserole is done. Doesn't that look great? I'm going to take that out so it can cool down. I have the roast all cut up just the way I want it to be for tonight. And look at that. That looks great. And there's a lot in there. Chances are there'll be enough after tonight that we can have some for leftovers tomorrow night too. So this is great. It's really good to get some prep work done before supper tonight. Just makes things a little easier. Another thing that I'd like to do, and that is I want to take some of these grapes and get them washed and put them in these containers. These here Gerald uses for his lunch because he takes a lunch to work every day. So to make my job easier at 5:30 in the morning when I'm making his lunch, I want to just get this done so I can just grab them and put them in his lunch box. So I'm going to start by washing some of these beautiful green grapes. And here they are, all washed up and ready for me to put the covers on. And then tuck them away into the fridge till I can take them out for Gerald's lunches. It's time to take a look at the peppers and see how they're doing. Now I checked them and they're quite dry. So I think that these are ready to put into some freezer bags. How you guys hanging in there? It's been busy, hasn't it? It's been a busy time today. Well, I think you'll be glad to know that I'm just about to start my very last project for today. At least in the kitchen, that is. Yes, it's the last one for the kitchen, and I'll show you. Here it is. I want to get this spaghetti squash all cooked up And that way it's done. I've been wanting to do it for a few days, but today is the day. Today is the designated day, and this is the last project for the kitchen for today. I'm going to be cooking this today in a very easy way. Nothing fancy, just easy and basic, but still delicious. So I have my cutting board, I have my knife here, and I'm just going to cut it down like that. Just cut it right down, all the way through. See this? I ended up cutting it down the middle. It was like this, and my plan was to cut it down here, but it was very kind of challenging to do that. So I flipped it on its side and I cut it here first. So that's why it looks like that. And then I cut, it was a lot easier actually to cut it this way. So now I have that like this. I'll set that over there. And this part here, I'm just going to flip like this. And I'm going to cut it here because it's a lot easier. A lot easier. So now it looks like this, and that'll be easier for me to scoop out the insides. And guess what? I think I'm going to keep those seeds and I'm going to dry them out. Yes, because I have plans for the spring. But that's another vlog, my friends. Let's continue with this project. We're almost done. I have my spaghetti squash. It's all scooped out. I put all of the seeds in this bowl here. But all 4 of them, you can see they're all scooped out. And then I also washed them too. I washed it. And then I just took a tea towel just to dry it a little bit. But you can see it's all scooped out, ready for the next step. And the next step is to get a fork or a knife. In my case, I'm going to use a knife just because it's a little quicker, but I'll be extra careful too. And just like you would with a baked potato, you have to just kind of do this. Watch your fingers, of course, if you use a knife. I tried to use a fork, but it just wasn't strong enough to go through like it would for a potato. This will help. Those little marks like that will help the squash to cook quicker and easier because the heat gets in there, just like it would for a potato. I'm being very careful. I'm going to do this for all 4 of these, turning them over like this, and then just kind of going through a little bit with the knife. I got all 4 of these pieces done, as you can see, and I was extremely careful. So all 4 of them are done, just like that. And that'll help cook them a lot easier and faster. I have this pan, and you can use a cookie sheet if you want, but I thought I'd use this pan. And I took out my tin foil, aluminum foil, and I'm going to start wrapping these up here. Shiny side in, dull side out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, my friends. At this present moment, this is what it looks like. Each piece of squash has tin foil all its own. So I have 4 there. And I had to take out a second pan just because they wouldn't all fit on this one. But that's okay. I have a big enough oven to hold them all. I put a little dab of butter in each of those. And I've got my salt. Just put a little bit of salt in there. Don't need too much. Just enough for a little bit of flavor. And I've got some pepper here. Just a little bit of that. And on the other side as well. And then you just wrap them up. You just wrap them. Very easy, just like wrapping a present. And there they are, all snug and warm inside of the oven. And I'm going to check them periodically. And when it gets to the amount of softness that I like, then that's when they're done. That's when they're ready. Well, my friends, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. It's been quite the busy day for sure. And everything on my list, done. I got her done. I got her done. So, whew. So that means with everything I did today, besides the things that I put in the freezer, like these peppers here, those are going in my freezer. Everything that I cooked today will be used for leftovers for the next couple days. And of course, the potatoes and the roast, that's going to be used tonight as well. So it's going to be really nice just to have most of all of that done and not waiting to the end of the day to do all of these projects. Yes, I would have been really tuckered out, that's for sure. But I didn't wait, and I thank you for keeping me company. The day went a lot faster having you guys around, that's for sure. And I thank you again for your friendships. You guys are pretty great, really good support. If you like this vlog, please give me the YouTube thumbs up or press that subscribe button. That would be great. In the meantime, I have more vlogs to come, so stay tuned. And I'll talk to you all soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.